Drop boxes closed in Maricopa County at 7, and we have the first results of some of the key school board races and local races. Joining us now to talk about everything and break it down for us, 12 News journalist Bram Resnick. And Bram, the biggest surprise for you tonight locally?
Biggest surprise, I think, was the Tolleson election. Tolleson Union High School District wanting a $125 million bond. The fourth time in 5 years they've gone to voters asking for that much money, and this time voters rejected it overwhelmingly, 60% to 40%. That's the tally so far, with about 80,000 votes left to be counted county-wide, not just in that race. We'll know more about the remaining votes tomorrow. In this case, Superintendent Jeremy Caius had been in the news all year for what many perceived as questionable financial maneuvers, lending $25 million to a neighboring district in a sale-leaseback arrangement, and then talking about an $80 million enclosed high school football field, a first for Maricopa County. That was part of Caius's plans. Apparently, voters said no there. What was so striking about this election was you had leaders in the community, former school board members coming out against it. That is very unusual when you're campaigning for a bond or a budget override, which, by the way, also went down in Tolleson United. And I think we can go on now. Prop 409.
So quickly, the big surprise there, and this wasn't the first bond that they'd asked for, right, in Tolleson?
Four times in the last 5 years,
right.
The first time it's been shot.
So that's a lot of money that's already coming to the district, so much so that he loaned, or the district loaned, $25 million to another school district. So probably voters there are just kind of saying, all right, you come to us 4 times, you're loaning money somewhere else, now you want to build this football stadium, and they just said enough.
And I think they may have seen two things. Number one, in one case, a former school board member showed me his property tax bill, which rose 89% in 1 year. Wow. And at the same time, critics were comparing all that money being spent with the actual proficiency, how well students are doing in schools. 20% proficiency in math and English in the Tolleson Union High School District. That just did not make sense. At the same time, you're lending $25 million to a neighboring school district. The question was, why aren't you putting that money back into the classroom?
And this is happening on a night when many other bonds and overrides passed.
Many did, but others didn't. It's interesting to me in the West Valley in particular. There seems to be a great sensitivity to increasing property tax rates, and that's become a persistent problem for some districts out there. The Nederburg district, by the way, very small district that is fast growing and can't keep up. State Treasurer Kimberly Yee withheld money from them just a month or two ago. Their bond issue went down 60% to 39%.
Prop 409, this is for Valleywise Health, the largest public hospital in Maricopa County, takes care of a lot of the inmates as they come through the system, takes care of a lot of our mentally ill. It adds beds for Valleywise, and this is at least leading tonight, but it's close.
It's leading by just 2 points. I spoke to some folks over the weekend. They were a bit nervous about it. Again, concerned about voters' apparent distaste for any property tax increase. It's up 51 to 49. There are 80,000 ballots left to count, according to the Maricopa County Elections Office. A spokesman for Prop 409 tells me the no side would have to win 56% of the remaining ballots in order to take the lead. The supporters of Prop 409 are confident that will not happen. So for folks out there, I know there are many, this was had bipartisan support, the yes vote did. Many people in the organized political community and others concerned about this. The folks behind the campaign says, take it easy, it's going to pass. Next results will be released
Let's
tomorrow.
count them all, as we're doing.
Exactly.
We will do overnight. All right, so let's get to Mesa, where we had a recall election that appears to be successful, and I think there's a lot of implications here.
A lot of national implications for it. Turning Point USA led the recall election. They rounded up the signatures to recall incumbent council member Julie Spilsbury. They paid for the boots on the ground to go door to door, door knocking to make sure people turned in their ballots. And they evidently have been successful in this race. It was a so-called revenge recall by Turning Point USA and its affiliate Turning Point Action. Julie Spilsbury came out and endorsed Kamala Harris, Democrat Kamala Harris for president. Julie Spilsbury is a Republican, and opponents jumped on her right away for that. She is in her second term and was elected just last December, almost a year ago. And still, they put her up for a recall. All kinds of stuff was thrown at her, supporting gender-affirming surgery. But in the end, this was all about, as a Turning Point leader said, all about her support as a city council member for the Democratic presidential nominee. And this clearly sends a message that Turning Point has the money and the will to go after you if you're a Republican and you don't keep in line with the Trump agenda.
Very, very deep pockets across the country, especially among evangelical Christians who populate Turning Point USA.
They're a significant part of it, but I wouldn't overestimate that. It is a fairly diverse organization across the country, diverse within the Republican realm, united by one thing, which is complete and total support for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Right, and we saw the turnout at Charlie Kirk's funeral here, what they were doing.
Absolutely.
So they're growing in power within the Republican Party, as they showed us tonight.
Yeah, not just on a national level, but on this grassroots, granular level, they will go wherever they feel they have to go.
And I would add, this was personal for one of the Turning Point leaders, Tyler Boyer. He's from Mesa, and they were in campaigns across the country tonight. This one was personal in his hometown. He wanted this council member out.
All right, Bram.